I wanted to discuss a blind spot in the behavioral health space, and I'm going to use an analogy to do so and then reference a couple articles. So let's say someone smokes a pack of cigarettes a day, but they want to improve their cardiovascular health, heart health, lung health, etc. And they go to the doctor and they say, what can I do? And the doctor says, well, here's some medications, maybe change your diet and exercise more if you can. But completely overlooks the pack of cigarettes that are being smoked a day. And now let's look at the mental health space, behavioral health space. We see people that may find themselves in a mental state that is not where they want to be, let's say. And what is the world doing right now? Well, we're being directed towards different psychomodalities, which again can be great. We're being directed towards different medications, which again can be effective. So that's not what I'm here to argue. What I'm arguing is that I'm seeing a lot of people, both in my own life, but even how we talk about behavioral health and mental health, is that people are directed towards, it's not even really the quick fix. It's just a fix that is everything but the behaviors of one's life, how someone's leading their life, the aims of their life, the values in their life, so on and so forth. So we're overlooking how someone may be nurturing or investing in their relationships. We're overlooking how someone may be nurturing or investing their physical health. Are they exercising? Are they eating well? Are they treating people well? Do they enjoy their job? Do they enjoy the people at their job? The list goes on. All these other parts collectively that can influence someone's behavioral state or mental state. Those questions aren't being asked. Those conversations aren't being had. We're going to, here's what you need. These psychomodalities, these medications, whatever it may be, to get to that fix. And we're skipping over a big collection of other parts of our lives that influence the state of our mind. I think that's an issue. And so I want to talk about how this narrative continues to survive in the mental health conversation. And one example is Osaka, that just came out and said that she was unable to compete in tennis. She's going through some mental distress and was outward about that, open about that, which I think is incredibly courageous. And I hope that she gets back not only to tennis, but more importantly to the state of mind that she wants to be in. I think as we're celebrating that, though, it begs the question, what happens as we continue down this road of the mental distress we're seeing? What happens when that's a brain surgeon? What happens when that's a heart surgeon, a nurse, a first responder, a lawyer, a teacher, a parent, a family member that can't show up to be the person they need to be for their family or their group in society or society as a whole to function? I just wonder if we'll still be celebrating it the same way, or will we be saying, wait a second, we actually need these people to be able to do their job and to live fully and to find the love and invigorating feelings that life can bring. So that's why I think it's interesting that we're celebrating it, but then we're missing the rest of the conversation. I know when the article, it was meditation was referenced. That again, that's not talking about the behaviors and aims and moral values that are collectively influencing the state of one's mind, the state of one's well-being. That continues to be overlooked. And I'll bring in the scientific side. There was a 30-year study just released three months ago now from the World Psychiatry Association, 34,000 patients. And they found that of all the leading forms of therapy, that behavioral activation had the greatest remission of depressive symptoms. Let's make the assumption reducing depressive symptoms increases the quality of life. We'll make that assumption for this conversation. So how fascinating is that behavioral activation of all other forms of therapy increases that quality of life? Now, behavioral activation is very simple. It is inputting a behavior, or I think we could also say taking away a behavior to have the experience or feeling of something good. How I would term it is it truly fulfills your human needs, right? Something that makes you feel good, something that makes you feel full and whole. And what that does is it takes you from that depressive cycle here and it leaps you over to the other side to get to the positive cycle, to do more of those behaviors. Kind of like when people first start working out. It's difficult, it's tough, but then it feels pretty damn good. And hopefully you continue to stay on that positive side, right? That's pretty fascinating. So I know this has been a bit of a negative conversation, but on that note of that behavioral activation, I wanted to end on one of the most empowering realizations when I read that study in regard to where I started this whole video, is those behaviors are in our control. Right now, we feel we have to go see someone and we need help outside of ourselves. We need, whether it's a medication or a psychomodality, a therapist of some sort, which I think are all great and they work for people. But again, we're missing the part that we have full control over when it comes to the behaviors of our lives, the collective behaviors every day for the 24 hours that influence the quality of our life, that we have control over, that we can change, that we can go from that one cycle that's a little bit negative over here and hop over to the positive one over here. And we have that inside us. I think that should be celebrated. So when we see these articles and people that continue to come out and say, I wasn't able to do my job, I wasn't able to work, I wasn't able to perform because I wasn't in the right mental state, and then we end the conversation. Or usually it's, oh, I need to start meditating more, or I need to go see a therapist and I need help outside of myself, and that's where the conversation ends. It's not the empowering conversation of, we see the behavioral activation, changing certain behaviors, changing our aims, learning about different morals, how we should be living our life collectively in our own power can improve the quality of our life. That is the most empowering thing I could be told, and especially in that state is hey, as much as you think right now you can't change this and you need help outside of yourself, we know it's pretty damn clear that you can actually. What behaviors can you change? Are there relationships you need to nurture? We already talked about this endless list of things that we can alter. See how that works. Try it on for size. Doesn't work? Okay, something else. What else can I change? Is it my eating habits? Is it my exercise habits? Is it my social habits? Is it, what is it that I'm doing? Let's change those behaviors with the power that I have, and let's push this thing forward. Let's hop over to that positive cycle, those positive thoughts and feelings to induce more of the same. And so I think the narrative, we just need to be careful on celebrating people stepping away from what they need to do, because in and of itself, a fulfilling life is being able to do things, is being able to complete tasks, is being able to show up, perform, get the job done, and allowing someone to feel whole in itself. And we see that, when people are taken away from sport, what do they want to do? They want to get back to sport. When people are unable to do a job that they love, what do they want to do that makes them feel good? Get back to that job. They want a family member that can't be the family member they want to be. What do they want to do? They want to get back to doing that. So I think we need to make sure as we move forward with this narrative that we include that. So I know I started this video quite negative, but I wanted to say what I'm talking about isn't this far off idea. I think the unfortunate thing is it's not really celebrated because it's too simple. I think that's the problem with what I'm talking about, is it's not necessarily the cover of the paper. It's not necessarily what someone tweets about, that I was anxious or I was depressed and hey, I made some changes behind the scenes of my values and how I was leading my life and what I was aiming at and the morals that were surrounding my life or the people that were surrounding my life, made some adjustments, and paradoxically, my anxiety and depression decreased. It's not sexy. It sounds too simple. But we see now that it can be so powerful. So I just wanted to share that because I don't think we're having that conversation. Well, I know we aren't having it enough. So yeah, fascinating stuff. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it.